and welcome to the Teachers in the Hall podcast. I'm Erin Lark in the Vancouver Public Schools studio, and I love cozy sweaters this time of year. I've really gotten into mushroom chais. Super delicious, perfect, and I've been watching a lot of the new Bel Air show, which I adore. And I was a big fan of Fresh Prince, and this is definitely a different take on the same characters, but I very much love it.
Yeah, I'm also interested in that. I just don't know if I want to download another new app to watch everything, because that just seems to be what's happening. And I'm John Zingali. I really enjoy this time of year too. Winter Olympics are just wrapping up, and to me, I love watching that. The pride that the Olympians have. They've worked so hard for so long to have that like little moment, and it's really cool to see some of those things come to fruition. I just got back onto the Ted Lasso, kick again. Just had to believe me and some believe, and love that show so much.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Be curious, not judgmental. We just watched that episode the other day, and then finally, I think the third thing is just it's spring-ish. But not, and so getting there, and so just trying to get outside with the kids when we can, because I think as the weather turns, it's nice to get back outside and back outdoors as well. So
love it. Well, we have a special sort of spring episode here as we're turning toward the latter half of our school year, and we wanted to ask a student what was on their mind. So we invited Landry Smith, who is a senior at Columbia River High School, with us. Hello, Landry.
Welcome.
And we would love to get to know you, ask you a couple questions, so our viewers, listeners can hear kind of what's on the mind of one of our students.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So Landry, do you want to tell us what you've been studying at Columbia River, kind of what your focus has been?
I'm in the IBCP program with a video focus, so I'm kind of studying, film, video, production, that sort of stuff.
I love it. I love it. So what is kind of your favorite part of that?
Probably filming sports games, basketball, football, setting up all this equipment and then operating the cameras directly and, getting those good shots of players making those awesome plays.
That is so exciting. I, for a long time, was someone who never thought about the behind-the-scenes work that went there. So the hard work that you and other students in your program are doing is, I know, appreciated by all of us who watched the Super Bowl recently and all the other sports that we're coming into with basketball, with the March Madness that we're on the verge of. Go Jays. So we'll be interested to see some of that work.
And it's always interesting to me too, because a lot of times in high school sports, the athletes get the front and center and all the attention, but you forget sometimes that there are student crews behind the scenes working hard, putting in as many, or if not sometimes more hours to try to make some of that stuff happen. And as my brother kind of does something, it's really cool to meet a student that gets that real world experience even in high school. I think that's a great piece that we can offer here within Vancouver Public for those kids that are interested in it. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, thinking back over this year, you're about to graduate, so and it's senior year. So is there something from this year or an event that stood out to you as kind of really awesome or really supportive, or that got you pumped in what you're doing?
Probably my IBCP paper that I did was such a very interesting topic on media regulation, not only in the US but around the world. And that paper was really very interesting to me, and when I finally finished it at the end of the first semester, it was just such a great thing to get that done along with so many other stuff. But it was a really fun project that I enjoyed.
I love it. That's not a normal or typical response that we hear is someone who loved a paper, so I'm a little surprised.
I have to ask a follow-up. What was so fascinating to you about that? Like the different regulations here in the US compared to other countries, or what was their kind of little crux of that?
The different approaches of different cultures, right? So I studied different Britain, I studied Australia, America, all these kind of different approaches to media regulation, and they have very different approaches from self-regulation and more government regulation. And the difference in how they approached it or how they talked about it was really fascinating to me.
Very cool.
Very cool. Well, we'd be remiss, let's see, we're going into year number 3-ish of this whole thing. So that means you were a sophomore when this all began. If you think back over these last 2+ years, what's a difficulty that you feel or something that you felt you've had to deal with but you've overcome or dealt with, and maybe struggled with to overcome, but now you feel you have? There's a lot to talk about in these last 2 years, because you had a normal freshman year, right? And then halfway through sophomore, and so you've had a couple different perspectives of all of this. How do you think that's gone for you over the last couple years?
Sophomore year was in some ways much harder and easier at the same time. We didn't do near as much, but because of that, it felt like going into junior, senior year, we're playing catch up. We're trying to study all this stuff. We're trying to do all these things, get ready for tests, IB exams, all sorts of stuff. So it's just been kind of a challenge to get all that in, all the stuff we need to do in.
Yeah. Did you find yourself having to figure out new schedules and how to stay motivated and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're at home, it's such a different environment than at school for a lot of things. So, making sure you're studying, you're setting aside time to do stuff and not just, laze about is kind of something you need to do.
Need to think about. Well, I'm interested in talking about the International Baccalaureate program at Columbia River. Would you have, looking back over your experience, maybe a kernel of advice or a quick something to any student who's maybe considering that? Or a student who has decided and is excited to get started, or maybe someone who's just starting in on the program itself?
Well, I'm in the new CP program, career program, and it's something that just brand new started during the pandemic, so all sorts of different stuff happened, and it was kind of a let's figure this out as we go sort of thing. But I think I'd say that there's different levels of IB. You don't have to do full IB baccalaureate. You can do all sorts of IB classes, the CP program, for a variety of different things. I'm in video, but I know there's new ones that they're even adding next year and stuff. So you don't have to lock yourself in on the highest level. You can do a variety of different things.
I love that. That's a great piece of advice, to look at all the options available for you and make some solid decisions there. Well, I wanted to ask before we close up, do you have any graduation plans or any post-graduation plans that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm going to college. I'm applying to different places. I've already been accepted to a few of them, and I can't wait to see where I go.
Love it, love it. Anything you can't wait to do when you're done? Anything? When June 15th or the last day for seniors is which day?
I'm not sure what day
You're
it
not
is.
sure? Okay, well, you're not counting down the days. That's
I know
good.
our graduation's the 10th.
Okay.
So
around in there?
Around there. I think the 8th might be the last day for seniors, something like that.
Probably just hang out with my friends, celebrate. We're done.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Landry. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, and just real quick, any plans to probably continue with the videography after in college and things like that, or just
I've
doors wide open for you?
I've kind of decided I'm not going to have it be my main focus, but it's a skill that I think I can use in a lot of different things, hobbies, other possible careers, all sorts of stuff where I could use the skills I've learned here.
Transferable
Cool.
skills, one of our favorites.
I love that. So,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you coming by. Landry, we appreciate all of the viewers and our listeners for wanting to step in to the hallways with us, hear some of our conversations, celebrate what seniors are doing at this time of the year, getting ready to launch themselves out into the world with all that entails. And we look forward to hearing from you again in the future.
Yeah. So that's a wrap. I can't believe episode 7 already in season 3. So thank you once again. You can find us Teachers in Hall on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. Leave us some notes about the different episodes or questions that you may have, ideas for new episodes, or what conversations are going on at your schools, so we can try to bring those in here and discuss them for more people to kind of wrap their head around what actually goes on within a school building. So thank you all for your time. My brother for his music, as always.
And thank you, Landry, and congratulations.
And thank you, Landry, once again for visiting us. It's always great to have a student perspective in all of this.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.